Basically, this is a very simple to learn how to load, operate, and shoot. However, there are a lot of considerations that you need to remember when you're actually handling this firearm. So, with all guns, you want to have a good firm grip on the gun with your dominant hand. You also want to have a high firm grip. And by that, what I mean is that you want to place your dominant hand right on the pistol grip and have it as high up as possible. Now, with a lot of beginner shooters, I noticed that they usually hold the gun like this, and there's a big giant gap between the web of their hand and the beaver tail right here. Now, the reason I don't recommend this grip is because it's not a very stable one. When you shoot, what happens is the gun's going to jump around. As you can see, if you have a limited grip on it, the gun might actually fly out of your hand. So definitely make sure that you have your hand all the way up on this pistol. As well, you want to keep your fingers straight and off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. That way you don't accidentally squeeze the trigger and shoot something without intending to. Now, basically, you're going to use your weak hand, and you're going to wrap it around your strong hand, and basically you want to keep your thumbs on the side just like this. Now, it's very important, especially for semi-automatic pistol, that you never place your thumb back here right behind the slide or right on the slide itself, because whenever you shoot, the slide cocks back. Now, if your thumb's back there, obviously you're going to cut yourself, or you might even risk breaking your own thumb. So it's very important that you always keep your thumbs right here on the side while you're shooting this pistol and away from the actual slide. So the way I do it is I just keep it right here on the frame, or you can have it tucked in, whichever's comfortable for you, as long as your thumbs are right there on the side. Now that we've discussed how to properly hold this pistol, I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit about the pistol, and then I'll show you how to properly load it as well. So this specific pistol right here has a safety, which is this black knob located right here on the back. Now, it's located on both sides, so if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can easily access the safety. When the safety is rotated down like that, that means that the safety is on. You will not be able to fire this pistol. In order to turn the safety off, all you need to do is flip it up. Once you see that red dot right there, the safety is off and you will be able to shoot this pistol. Now, the next feature that this pistol has is this piece right here. This is called a hammer. Basically, when the hammer is cocked up like this, the pistol is on double action. Now, for lack of better terms, when the gun's on double action, it's just going to be a little bit harder for you to shoot because you're going to need to squeeze the trigger all the way back before the gun's fired. When the hammer is cocked back, the trigger moves back as well, making the gun a little bit easier to shoot. Now, that's basically not the textbook definition of double action, single action, but I'm not going to go over that. It's a little bit easier if you just take my definition for it, okay? Now, this safety also double as a decocker. So what that does is it brings the hammer safely back up without shooting the pistol. So if you put the safety back on after firing off a couple of rounds, the next shot will be in double action and it will be a little bit difficult to squeeze. Alright, now moving on. This lever right here, this is called the slide release. Once this pistol runs out of ammunition, the slide will automatically lock open just like this. Now in order to send the slide forward, all you need to do is depress the slide release. You want to push it down and not in towards the gun. This lever right here, this button right here is called the magazine release. When you depress it, the magazine will slide right out. Now, this lever right here, this is called the takedown lever. Do not touch the takedown lever. It's going to disassemble the weapon, and I don't think you want to disassemble the weapon unless you want to clean it for us later on. Now, the magazines that we have here hold only up to 10 rounds. Now, in order to load the magazines, you're going to take the back end of the bullet, which is the flat part right here, and you're going to depress it into the front end of the magazine right where the ramp pops up. Now, make sure that you don't push the bullet down from the top, because these side walls right there will physically prevent the bullet from going down. So what you need to do is push the bullet parallel to the ramp, straight down, and then slide it back underneath these walls right there. Once you have the bullet in, you're going to take your thumb, place it on the back end of the bullet, and then just basically repeat the process until you have up to 10 rounds loaded. Now for beginning shooters, it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually load this magazine to full capacity, so what I recommend is that you just load it straight up to 5 rounds, and then you'll be set. Now with this pistol, there are 2 different ways to load this pistol. The first way is when your slide is forward like this. What you're going to do is take the magazine and slap it right here into the back or bottom end of the pistol grip. Once you have the magazine firmly inserted, you're going to go ahead, grip right here where these grooves are, you're going to pull the slide back, and you're going to release it. What that does is it pushes the bullet from the magazine into the chamber, which loads the gun and makes it ready to shoot. That is the first way to shoot this or load this pistol. Now, when you're loading the gun that way, make sure that you always keep your hand behind this point right here. Why? Because if you have your hand forward to that point, when you pull the slide back, there's a chance that when you let it go, you might cut yourself right there where the barrel meets the slide, and that really hurts, believe me. So, always hold right here where these grooves are, or right where the safeties are at. The second way to load this pistol is when your slide is locked open and you're out of ammunition. Just go ahead, eject the magazine. Once you have the magazine reloaded, stick it back inside, and this time all you need to do is depress the slide release right here, and once again, the pistol will load. Once the gun is loaded and ready to shoot, go ahead and make sure you hold the gun properly, just like I showed you. You want to have both of your hands wrapped together, and you want to keep your fingers straightened off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and you also want to keep your thumbs right here on the side. Now, you want to make sure that you have a good firm stance as well, or a good balanced stance. What you want to do is basically keep your feet shoulder width apart, slightly staggered. Now, it's important that you don't stand in some crazy exaggerated position like they do in Hollywood movies, and that you just stand comfortably. That way you remain balanced and you remain comfortable. You want to have your back straight and you want to lean slightly forward. You want to extend both of your arms and you want to bring the gun up to eye level. Now, it's very important that you bring the gun up to eye level, because if you have it slightly lower, you're going to want to naturally bend down just to see the sights, and that's going to put you in a very uncomfortable position. So just go ahead, do yourself a favor, and bring the gun up to eye level. You also want to make sure that your arms are straightened out, especially the shooting arm. You want to have your wrist locked and you want to have your elbow fully extended. Once you've accomplished that, you're going to need to aim next. So, aiming is fairly simple. What you want to do is align the front sight post right there in the open gap of the rear sight. Now, what that looks like is this diagram right here. As you can see, the orange tip right here is the front sight. In the black U, that's the rear sight. You align your sights so that it's a flat line straight across the top of the sights. And basically, to do that, all you need to do is look straight down the gun. Once you have your sights aligned, you're going to place it on the center of your target, and when you squeeze the trigger, your bullet should impact somewhere around the front sight tip. But of course, if your bullets go everywhere, that's perfectly fine as well, because you're all here to have fun anyway, right? Okay, so now that we've discussed how to properly stand and aim, next thing you need to do is make sure that you take the safety off. A lot of shooters always forget to take the safety off when they're shooting the Berreta 92, and it's pretty hilarious actually. So just make sure you don't be one of those guys that just stands there forever and try to squeeze the trigger and have nothing happen. Go ahead, take your thumb, flip up on the safety, and when you're ready, that's when you take your finger and you slowly, steadily press the trigger back until you fire out a bullet. And what that does is it shoots out the bullet, it ejects the empty shell casing, and it automatically reloads for you so that you do not need to pull the slide back each time. Just keep on squeezing the trigger until your slide locks open and you run out of ammunition. Once the ammunition's out, go ahead, eject your magazine, set the pistol on the table, and once again, reload the magazine and repeat the entire process. And that's basically it for the Berreta 92FS. Just once again, as a small safety consideration, you always want to keep the pistol pointing in a safe direction. You always want to make sure that your finger is kept straight and off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, and you always want to keep your thumbs on the side as well.